Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Liaquat Zaman. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to this video, guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful time. This series is dedicated to teaching you guys the Mukhtasar al-Qudoori, right, which is a text in the Hanafi Fiqh. If you guys are familiar with my channel, please check out the other videos, subscribe, hit the like button. Let's get on with this series then. So, first of all, let's answer some of the questions that will come up in today's lesson. So, list the 8 categories of zakat recipients in the Quran. Okay, so 8 categories in the Quran. List them. Number 2, what does amilin refer to? What kind of slaves can take zakat? How can a person with debt receive zakat? And what happened to the mu'allafa qulubihim? And does a person have to give all the groups zakat? Right. So let's start off. So first, the word dafa'a yadfa'u, it means to give. Right. So daf'u sadaqah. Sadaqat, it means zakat or charity. Poor, fuqara, masakin are the needy. Thamaniya means 8. Asnaf means types. Then you have the word saqatat, which means to drop. Al-mu'allafatu, this word is basically means those who's to be reconciled. From allafa yu'allifu, to bring 2 or more things together. And this is, if you know what it is in the Quran as well, another usage in the Quran, they put in the comments. Qulubuhum means their hearts. A'azza yu'izzu, it means to strengthen, to make strong. Izzah, to give izzah. Al-Islam is Islam. Aghna, it means to make ghani, to make rich. Okay, so al-faqir is the poor. Adna means minimum. Maskeen means poor, needy. Amil means worker, right, someone who works. And then biqadar means according to the amount. And then yu'anu, it means to support. From the word aun. Ana ya'inu or ya'unu, aun. What's the mudari for it? Ana ya'in. So a'ana yu'inu, i'anatan. Al-mukatabun, so yu'anu al-mukatabun are a certain type of slaves or contractual slaves who make an agreement with their master to be freed in exchange for a payment. So slaves, fakku means to free, fakka yafukku. Riqab means necks, which refers to slaves. Al-gharim means someone in debt. Dain is a debt. Fi sabilillah, path of Allah. Munqati means severed, someone who's cut off from the world. Al-ghuzat, jama of ghazi from ghazwa, which means a soldier. Ibn al-sabil is the son of a journey. And Malik is owner. And yaqtasiru, iqtasara, yaqtasir, to suffice, to restrict oneself. And sinf is type. There you go. Right, so let's look at some tarkeeb over here now. So we have babu, which is the khabar, mudaf. Yajuzu, jaza, yajuzu is the fi'l. Daf'u, sadaqa, mudaf, mudaf ilayh becomes the fa'il of yajuzu. And then you got qala Allahu, and the word qala is fi'l, the word Allah is the fa'il. Innama sadaqatu is the mubtada, lil fuqara, etc. All of that is jar majroor and becomes ataf ma'tuf, the khabar. Al-ayatu, this is like hadihi al-ayatu. And then fahadi, thamaniyatu, mudaf, mudaf ilay, asnafin. Qad saqatat, so that becomes the khabar of hadihi. Saqatat is the fi'l. Al-mu'allafatu is the fa'il. And qulubuhum is the fa'il of mu'allafa. Now mu'allafa is an ism, but it behaves like a fi'l, which is an ism amila. So it becomes the fa'il of mu'allafa. In fact, let's make it a naib fa'il, not fa'il, naib fa'il. لأن الله, so the word Allah is the ism of anna. A'azza is fi'l fa'il. Al-Islam is the maf'ul bihi. And then the same with aghna. Anhum, okay, let's write that properly. Aghna anhum. And then you got the word faqir. Faqir is the mubtada. Man lahu adna. So adna is the bare minimum. Mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. Yeah, so the bare minimum. And then you got miskeen. And the miskeen is the mubtada. Man la shay'a lahu. La shay'a is ism of la, nafi al-jins. Wal-amilu is the mubtada. Yadfa', dafa'a yadfa'u. Al-imam is the fa'il. And biqadri, jar majroor, mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. In amila biqadri علمه. علمه? No, not علمه. It's supposed to be عمله. Can't do قدر عمل علم. Yeah, so that is a mistake. typo. Okay, so that's عمله. وفي الرقاب, and in the next, يعان is الناصبة, يعان is the fi'l majhul, and the مكاتبون is the naib file of it. في فك مضاف مضاف إليه, الغارم is the مبتدا, من لزمه لزم فعل, دين is the فاعل. في سبيل الله جار مجرور, منقطع الخزاة مضاف مضاف إليه becomes the فاعل. ابن السبيل مضاف مضاف إليه مبتدا. من كان له مال is the ism of كان. And then you've got في وطنه جار مجرور. في مكان is موصوف. آخر is the صفة. Let me know in the comments, why is it آخر with the single fatha? Does anyone know? Why isn't it آخرين if it's the صفة? لا شيء, لا نفي الجنس. هذه المبتدا. جهات الزكاة مضاف مضاف إليه becomes the خبر of هذه. وللمالك, للمالك جار مجرور becomes the خبر مقدم. And أن يدفع, all of that is the مبتدا مؤخر. Yeah. So أن يدفع, and then إلى كل واحد, to each one of them, مضاف مضاف إليه. وله إن يقتصر على صنف واحد, موصوف صفة. Alright, let's look at this masala now. Let's see what this masala is saying. So let's say that this guy wants to give his zakat. He wants to know, where can I give my zakat? Can he give it anywhere, to a pet store, to, I don't know, to build a road or something? No. He has to give it to 8 categories that are mentioned in the Quran. These 8 categories, number 1 are the poor, number 2 are the needy, number 3 are those whose hearts are to be reconciled. Oh, actually no. I want to do according to the order now. Now I'm not a Hafiz. If you're a Hafiz, mashallah, well done to you. And the third one is عاملين. Yeah. إنما صدقات الفقراء إنما صدقات الفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها. So zakat workers, and then في الرقاب, those whose necks are basically slavery. Actually, it's not, is it? No, it's not. And that's where المؤلفة قلوب. Yeah, so مؤلفة قلوبهم. So those whose hearts are to be reconciled. Then number 5 is riqab, slaves. And then number 6 is those who are in debt, the gharimin. Number 7 is those in the path of Allah. And number 8 are the travelers. Right? So these are 8 categories of people you can give your zakat to, no one else. So in the Quran, Allah says, lil fuqara 1, masakin 2, amilin 3, mu'allafat qulub 4, riqab 5, gharimin 6, fi sabilillah 7, ibn sabil 8. Those are the 8 categories. Okay, so let's have a look at each one and try to understand. So the basic is, you can only give your zakat to people who need it, right, who are poor. So the poor people are those people who don't have the nisab. So remember the nisabs that we have mentioned, the camels and the cows and the goats and the horses and business stock and gold and silver and all that. If someone has less than the threshold, they are poor. And if someone has nothing at all, لا شيء له, has nothing at all, really, really poor, you call them a miskin. These 2 categories can be given zakat, right? Whoever they may be, you can give them zakat, right? Oh yeah, they got to be Muslim, obviously. Zakat worker. Now, zakat workers are those people who work for the government, and the government is allowed to give them wages from the zakat they've collected. Now, these zakat collectors don't just put their hands in the bag and take how much ever they want. No. This has to be allocated to them by the government. So they say there's a guy. This guy works for the zakat collectors organization. He collects all this zakat from people in the country or the city. And he goes, deposits it with the government. The government now will pay him from there a certain amount, let's say a certain percentage, right? He can get, like a bonus, and he can get, commission as well of how much he's actually gone and worked. Now, the idea of giving to the amil is that the amil is not really poor. He's actually getting a wage. He's working. It's just to kind of save him from getting those kind of thoughts and whispers of taking some money, pinching a few pounds here and there. And, you're dealing with money all day. If you're poor yourself, shaitan might come to you and say, you know what, you take some as well. So you've got to be a bit careful. So this is why they are paid, they are funded, they are given wages. And it's a good thing as well, right? That the people that are taking your zakat are not going to be hiding that zakat from the true recipients. Okay, hearts are to be reconciled. What does this mean? So those new Muslims who are quite shaky on their faith in the beginning of Islam, right? To support them, to keep them strong, financial support makes a big difference in people's lives. Right? There could be someone who struggles to make ends meet. You give them a few pounds now and again, it helps them a lot. So these were people that were given, and also non-Muslims who who are funded as well, right? And remember, if you're supporting non-Muslims, you're really getting foreign support, right? These are the people who, at the end of the day, if you're going to support your non-Muslim neighbors and friends and community, those are the ones who are going to support you, because they're going to see, these Muslims, end of the day, these are good people. They're financially supporting us. So the Prophet ﷺ was told that they can be given zakat as well, right? Now, in the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, some people actually came to collect some zakat, non-Muslims, and Umar radiallahu anhu said, no, we're not giving you zakat anymore. And they go, why? We were given zakat in the time of your Prophet. He says, because the Prophet ﷺ gave it because Islam was weak. Now Islam has become strong. We don't need to give you. We can distribute that same money to our own people, right? So therefore, this is why he says that this category has actually dropped. Now we don't give it to them. So there's not 8 anymore. Now there's 7. So these are the people whose hearts are to be reconciled. They are basically Muslims are getting foreign support. Okay, slaves. What about slaves then? So not all slaves can take zakat. This is a specific type of slave. A slave who has made a contractual agreement with the owner that they will pay off for their freedom. Right? So let's say, for example, the owner said, right, look, I've paid £1,000 for you. You give me £1,000 and you're free. Right? So the slave will get that £1,000, give it to the owner. Now, where does he get these funds from? Right? So where is he going to go and collect these funds? So he's going to get these funds from zakat. He's allowed to get it from zakat. Yeah. So makes him happy, isn't it? So this guy is allowed to get zakat to free himself, because freedom is a good thing, right? Islam encourages people to free slaves. Okay, so this guy in the blue who's got lots of zakat, he goes, you want to free yourself? He goes, yeah, I want to free myself. He goes, okay, come on, here, take some zakat money and you can go and free yourself. Okay, anyway, next one, the debt. Now, a person who's in debt is of 2 types. One is a person who has a little debt, who doesn't really kind of dent his wallet, his savings. But the other guy is a guy who has a big debt. So let's say, for example, like there's a guy, he has £10,000 of savings. Now, his debt, on the other hand, is £15,000. So imagine £10,000 savings. If you deduct the debt from that how much he owes, he's in the minus. This is what we're talking about. This is a gharim. This is a guy whose debts are more than the savings. They outweigh the savings. So he's in -5 now. This guy can actually be given zakat for his situation, right? So family members, friends, community can chip in their zakat money and help him out of his debt. Right, so this is also something which is a good thing as well. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, Islam wants people to support one another. These guys, even though the guy who has £10,000 savings might seem rich, but in reality, he's kind of poor really in the long run. He has to pay off that debt. So this guy, he's like this. Now, next one, Path of Allah. Path of Allah are those soldiers, those military personnel who need funding for weapons, for other things, equipment, food, so they can fight the enemies. Now, if a country has military but doesn't have enough funding, you know what's going to happen to that country, right? That country will be taken over. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds the Muslims the importance of funding your army, funding the soldiers. So soldiers who need weapons, who are in need, who are basically kind of like, you can say, poor, can receive zakat for this, right? They can receive zakat for fighting the enemy. And this is something which is very, very important to preserve the ownership of the country, preserve the country from foreign fighters, foreign enemies. The final one is a traveller. So a traveller, let's say there's a traveller at home, he's rich, he's got loads of money, but he's gone on a journey and all of his money has been exhausted and he doesn't have access to his funds, right? He doesn't have access to his funds. So this guy who's on a journey, at home he's got the money, but on the journey he's technically poor. So is he allowed to take zakat? Yes, this guy is allowed to take zakat. Khalas. Yeah. Now look at, this is interesting. If you look at this, these 8 categories, these are 8 categories that play an important role in strengthening the community. Poor. If there's a community that's poor and you're funding them and you're taking them out of poverty, these people can work, these people can provide, they can become givers. Zakat collectors are obviously needed to be able to bridge between the rich and the poor. They are the ones that take the money from the rich and give it to the poor, right? So those are needed as well, and they need to be well funded so that they don't have any ulterior motives. And those whose hearts are to be reconciled, So this is to strengthen Islam from all angles. Yeah. So foreign support is also something very important. Now the other categories, for example, slaves. Islam allows slaves, however, Islam encourages the freedom of slaves. If you've bought a slave, you can actually make an agreement and free them, or you can even free them free of charge. But a lot of people are not in a financial situation where they can have that privilege of freeing someone for free. They need that money back that they paid for. So getting people out of debts, this is a very important thing as well, because if you have a society and there's lots of people in that society who have bought things, sold things, and they're in debt, then you know how debts can, really kind of paralyze a person, right? They can't get on with their families, and it affects their marriage and children, all sorts of things. Yeah, stress. Path of Allah, military. Every country needs a military, so protect them from the forces of enemies outside. And finally, travelers. Islam encourages people to travel for business purposes, for learning purposes, and all that. So this is why all of these people are key, right, to the society. So therefore, supporting them is very important. Okay, let's look at the text now. So, Babu man yajuzu dafu zakati ilayhi wa man la yajuz. Chapter of the one to whom zakat can be given and the one who it cannot. Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا صَدَقَاتُ. Sadaqat is only for the fuqara and masakin, al-ayah, and the rest of the ayah. هذه ثمانية, these 8 asnaf categories, قد سقطت, has indeed dropped, minha, from it, al-mu'allafatu, reconciled, قلوبهم, their hearts. The hearts who are to be reconciled. لأن الله, indeed Allah, for indeed Allah Ta'ala, the All High, Azza, has strengthened al-Islam, وأغنى, and has enriched its people, anhum, from these individuals. وَالْفَقِيرُ, and the faqir, the poor, is man lahu, the one who possesses, adna, the bare minimum thing. وَالْمِسْكِينُ, and the miskin is man la shay'a, the one who has nothing at all. وَالْعَامِلُ, and the worker, يَدْفَعُ إِلَيْهِ, will give to him, the imam, meaning the imam will give to him, the imam meaning the government, the leader will give to him, بِقَدَرِ, according to his work, in amila, if he does work, بِقَدْرِ عَمَلِ. I think this is wrong, Yeah, this sounds wrong. I think there's a typo, it shouldn't be there. Anyway, وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, this is extra word, بِقَدْرِ عَمَلِهِ. وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, and in the riqab, meaning in slaves, and yu'an, that support is given, al-mukatabun, to the contractual slaves, fi fakki, in regards to emancipation of their necks, freeing their necks, wal-gharimu, and the indebted, the one who's in debt, debtor, man lazimahu, who a debt, dain, has become lazim, necessary upon him. وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, and in the path of Allah, munqati, is the one who is severed from his society as a soldier. So munqati al-ghuzat, those soldiers who have severed themselves, cut themselves off from society to protect their people. وَابْنُ السَّبِيل, and the literally means the son of the path. Sounds like a swear, but the son of the path, meaning a traveller. Man kana lahu, is the one who has malun, wealth, fi watanihi, in his town, wa huwa fi makanin akhar, whilst he is in a different location. La shay'a lahu, and nothing for him, fihi, in that place. Yeah, so he basically is skint. Yeah, if you know what skint means. فَهَذِهِ جِهَاتُ الزَّكَاةِ, these are the perspectives of zakat. So these are the 7 categories now, right? The ones that today still exist. هَذِهِ جِهَاتُ, these are the perspectives or the positions of zakat. لِلْمَالِ وَلِلْمَالِكِ, and the owner of money, so a person who has to give their zakat, called the malik, he has the right, and yadfa'a, to give, ila kulli wahid minhum, to each one of them, walahu, and he has the right, and yaqtasira ala, to suffice with one category. That's it. There you go. MashaAllah. Now, this last point, let me just explain this. Let's say there's a guy and he wants to give his zakat. Does he have to give his zakat to all those categories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the ones that still in existence? Or can he just give it to one of them, or 2 of them, or 3 of them? Well, he can give it to all of them if he wants, or if he wants to just give it to 1, or just 2, or just 3, then it's up to him. Right? He doesn't have to. Quran mentions 8, but the Quran does not say that you have to give it to all of them. Right? You can give it to whichever one you want. And that's it. So, hope that made sense. So we covered all of these types, and there you go. So let's check out the questions, guys. Questions are: list the 8 categories of zakat recipients in the Quran. What does amilin refer to? What kind of slaves can take zakat? How can a person with debt receive zakat? What happened to al-mu'allafatu qulubihim or qulubuhum? Does a person have to give all groups? Jazakumullah khair, guys, for watching this video. I really appreciate your comments, and I really look forward to the kind of comments that you guys put up. Thank you very much to all my patrons. You got patrons are my lovely, wonderful people. You support my channel, may Allah give you immense reward. If anyone else out there thinks that the work I'm doing is something which you would like to support, you would like to help them, please check out the links below. You can support me through Patreon on a monthly basis, or even like one-off payments through PayPal. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.